Hey Reddit, buckle up because this story still makes me shake my head in disbelief. This happened a few months ago when I had a run-in with the most entitled WA president ever. Let's call her Karen because of course, I live in a small, gated community where we technically have an WA homeowners association, but it's mostly useless. The president is a retired woman who took her self-appointed power way too seriously. She would constantly harass people about lawn length, mailbox colors, even garbage can placement. But most people just ignored her because she wasn't legally elected, just loud. I bought my house outright and have full legal rights over my property, including the utilities. Now, my house has an old irrigation system that was installed years ago and hasn't worked properly since. It was connected to my water line, and despite not using it, it was leaking underground and causing my water bill to skyrocket. So, I hired a plumber to shut off the old irrigation valve and permanently disable the system. Easy fix, right? Wrong. The plumber arrives in the morning and starts working on the shutoff outside near the curb, not even on shared property. Not even 10 minutes in, Karen comes marching over in full president mode with her clipboard. Karen, excuse me, what do you think you're doing? That's WA property. Me, nope. This is part of my personal water line. The irrigation system is leaking, and I'm having it shut off permanently. Karen, you can't do that without permission. That system waters the community greens. Now that threw me off. There's a patch of grass near the community sign at the entrance. Turns out, Karen had secretly rerouted the water line from my house years ago to feed that tiny patch. No permission, no agreement, nothing. I asked the plumber, and he confirmed, yes, part of the water line branched off from my property. Illegally. I told Karen she had no right to siphon water from my line. She started screeching that I was endangering community greenery and violating WA unity. She then storms off and calls 911. Yes, she called the police. Cops arrive, visibly annoyed. I calmly explain the situation, show them the plumber's report, my utility bills, and ownership documents. Meanwhile, Karen is yelling about vandalism and theft of community resources. The officer asks Karen, "Ma'am, did you have permission to tap into his private water line?" Karen smugly says, "I'm the WA president, I don't need permission." Big mistake. The cop's expression changed immediately. He pulled me aside and told me she'd essentially committed utility theft. Not only that, but calling 911 on a non-emergency, especially over private property being fixed, was an abuse of emergency services. Karen got arrested for utility theft and misusing 911. The WA later tried to save face by claiming she was acting alone. Turns out, several other homes had unexplained water issues, and a quiet investigation followed. Karen was removed from any WA involvement finally. I got refunded for several months of inflated water bills. The community eventually voted to officially dissolve the informal WA structure and replace it with an actual management company. Peace has returned to the land. Oh, and that patch of grass? It's now brown. Karen, the self-appointed WA president, secretly rerouted her community's grass irrigation through my water line. When I cut it off, she called 911 claiming vandalism. She ended up being arrested for utility theft and misuse of emergency services. Grass died, peace restored,